And I want to thank you once again, Honorable Senyonyi, for hosting this very important engagement. Ladies and gentlemen, on the 20th day of November, the nation woke up to the disturbing news of a cross-border abduction of Dr. Kizza Besigye and his colleague, Alhaji Obeid Kamlegea. This was done in Kenya by Uganda's security operatives. It was done in violation of their rights and in utter violation of international law. They were then smuggled into Uganda discreetly, of course in violation of any known extradition processes. And although these two were not serving military men, they were arraigned before the General Court Martial in violation of the Constitution and in violation, in utter contempt of all the pronouncements of the Constitutional Court. As we all know, numerous times the Constitutional Court has made it clear that it's illegal to try non-soldiers, civilians, in military courts. We, as a National Unity Platform, have been the biggest victims of these kangaroo courts before, during, and after the elections of 2021. Over 2,000 of our members and supporters were abducted and detained on the orders of either the unit disciplinary committees or the division court martials or the general court martial. Most of them were charged with ridiculous trumped-up charges of being found with military stores, literally referring to our red berets and red overalls. As we speak today, very many of them are still languishing in prison, 4 years and some more, without trial. Recently, all of us saw with shock how the regime forced and coerced some of our comrades to accept the offenses that they never committed. It was such a travesty of justice, and we call upon all Ugandans of good conscience to condemn it and continue condemning it. But before all this happened, you all remember that I was personally charged before the same court, the military court, and the regime presented 2 machine guns claiming that they were found in my hotel room in Arua. Of course, eventually, the guns disappeared, and out of both international and local pressure, the charges were dropped. So, when we speak about the oppression and the injustice in military courts, ladies and gentlemen, we don't just talk about it as academic knowledge. This is lived experience. We've been through it, and so many Ugandans continue to go through it. The court-martial has been turned into a tool of oppression by General Museveni because he has full control of it. He decides who gets charged in the court-martial, what charges are preferred against that person, and who does or doesn't get bail from the court-martial. He uses it to punish and intimidate his opponents, and we condemn that. So here we come together knowing that Dr. Kizza Besigye and Haji Obeid Kamlegea cannot and will not get justice in that military court. We therefore jointly demand that Dr. Kizza Besigye's charges and Haji Obeid Kamlegea's charges be dropped, and if they can't be dropped, let them at least be charged in a civilian court, because they are civilians. We demand that those charges, those bogus charges, be dropped against them. And I mean, looking at common sense, even if Dr. Kizza Besigye and his colleague were found with guns in Kenya, how does that become a monopoly? How do those guns become a monopoly, or even the business of the Ugandan military? We are aware that these charges in the court-martial are meant to intimidate, coerce, and ultimately subdue the people of Uganda and their leaders, to stop them from challenging the corrupt system, the corrupt criminal regime of General Museveni. We are here to say to General Museveni that no amount of coercion, no amount of oppression, no amount of impunity will stop the people of Uganda from seeking better. And yes, no amount of intimidation will stop us from offering leadership to these people until we get to a country that we want to live in. Friends, so many dictators have done exactly, or even worse, to their people like Museveni has done to the people of Uganda. But history has taught us that they ultimately come crumbling down when people don't give up. From the dictators that we've seen in history, and yesterday it was Assad of Syria who has oppressed the people of Syria, him and his family, for more than 50 years. They came crumbling down yesterday. So yesterday it was Assad in Syria, and hopefully tomorrow it will be Museveni in Uganda. We ask the people of Uganda never to give up on hope, to keep fighting for what they rightly deserve, for keep pushing for liberation, because there's no doubt that their freedom is very soon coming. I want to thank you all for listening to me and request other colleague leaders to also give their comments. So it's my humble pleasure to invite you, General Mugisha Muntu, to kindly come and give your remarks. I thank you.
On behalf of our National Coordinator, Honorable Ali Salaso, and on behalf of all the colleagues in Alliance for National Transformation, we've come to jointly stand with the rest of the opposition parties, stand in solidarity with Dr. Chizabesje and Haji Rutare, who were abducted in Kenya and have been arraigned before the military courts. Our demands are that Dr. Chizabesje and Haji Obedi Rutare be tried in the civil courts, because both are civilians. I'd like also to talk about another aspect. We should make every Ugandan concerned about this particular case. It's not every day that governments go and abduct their citizens from other countries, more so neighboring countries. One would have to look behind the mindsets of those who are conducting such an operation, where a government goes and abducts its citizens from another country and does not go through the established channels through which, when a person is arrested in a different country, processes are in place, are established, legal as well as diplomatic. That never happened, because they were abducted on Saturday, and by Sunday, they were in Makinde, taken through both borders, the Kenyan border and the Ugandan border, the official borders. So what would be the mindset of those who are conducting such an operation, considering the consequences of that? Kenya itself, I saw a few days back, the public servant representing the Ministry of Foreign Affairs trying to explain this question, because there are so many questions in Kenya itself. And I saw him almost speaking Greek, because he was not able to come out openly to say whether the Kenyan government was behind it or not. That wouldn't be facing the Kenyan government right now if those who are conducting the operation from this side were not operating from the mindset in which they are operating. We don't have information as why they would do that first and foremost, when they clearly knew that Dr. Chizabesje has been going out of the country and he comes back. And they were clearly aware that he would be back, that they would not wait, even if they had any case to put against him, to arrest him when in Uganda, should be a concern of all Ugandans. Why so? Because it would clearly mean that, one, either those who conducted this operation were in panic for whatever reason, one wouldn't understand. Two, that at their subconscious level, they have given up on the image of their government, that they no longer care about protecting image because basically maybe they think in their minds that they no longer have anything to protect in terms of image. You don't do that. As you can see, the attraction this case has raised, regionally, continentally, and internationally. What government will not care about its image when there are consequences of that nature? Unless in the subconscious level, they have given up on image. They no longer believe that they got an image to protect. Three, or those who conducted the operation are inept, that they have no capability to weigh when they are conducting or planning operations of that nature, to balance a number of issues before they make a decision of that nature. Or four, they are so reckless that they don't care about what happens. Now, in case it is any of those four, or a combination of them, that should make all of us worried as Ugandans. Because the management of security forces is key in the stability of a country. So if it is because of recklessness or ineptness, it should be a cause for concern for all of us, including those who are in the regime. Because we have got people who handle issues of that nature, to handle them the way they handle the matter. Even those who are senior in government, political as well as military, should think deeply on this particular issue. So we are happy and we thank you, the leader of opposition and the members of parliament who are here with you for hosting us this day. We should not let this matter rest. We are glad that there are regional interest, a number of political actors in this whole of East Africa, at the continental level, that are also raising pressure all around. We'd like to thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and also the members of the press for covering us today. Twebaza leader of opposition ne members of parliament abatwaniriza mu kifo kino ekya parliament, ate n'abakulembeze bonna ab'ebibiina ebya opposition okujja wano okuyimirira ne Dr. Kiza Besigye ne Haji Obedi Lutale ku musango gwe wabataddeko nga bamaze okubawamba e Kenya ne bateeka mu kooti ey'amagye ekitasaanidde okuba kubanga bantu ba bulijjo. Ekyokubiri, ekintu kino abali mu gavumenti basaanidde okukirowoozaako nnyo, okusingira kimu ddala abo abali ku ntikko, kubanga nzijukira mu mwaka gwa 82 nga tukyalwana, nga tulina abakulembeze abali e Nairobi. Gavumenti yaliwo obudde obwo bawamba eyaliko minisita Muzeeyi Barak Kiria, ne bamujja e Nairobi ne bamuwamba nga kati Dr. Kiza Besigye engeri gye yawambiddwamu, ne bamuleeta wano e Luzira. Era ndowooza yamalayo egyo emyaka gyonna okutuusa Lutwalo yakwata gavumenti. Abaali ku kakiiko ke twalina external committee abaali e Nairobi bona badduka buddusi. Honorable Mbabazi eyaliko prime minister yaddukira Sweden. Honorable Rugunda eyali ku kakiiko ako n'addukira Sweden. n'abakulembeze abalala badduka ne ba skata mu Luganda simanyi skata ne basaasaana era abakulembeze olwo General Museveni ye kennyini yakivumirira nnyo kati okuddamu okukola ebyo ebintu byennyini ebyakolebwako nga tebayizze tebalina kyebategeera tekuliiko advance yona ekoleddwa ekyo kyekisooka ekyokubiri engeri abduction eno engeri gyekoleddwamu kiraga nti abo abali ku ntikko ebitongole ebikuuma eddembe kintu kyakweraliikiriza kubanga bw'owamba omuntu gw'omanyi nti yali agenda kudda kubanga bakimanyi Dr. Kizabeji yali agenda okudda agenze ebwere emirundi mingi ng'adda obutalinda ne bamukwata ne bwe bandibadde nga balina emisango gyonna gye bakamukwata emirundi mingi wano mu Uganda naye okukola ekintu ekitali kya bulijjo ne bamuwambira e Kenya ate nga bamanyi nti yali wakudda kintu kyakweraliikiriza lwaki kubanga kiraga nti abo abakulembera ebitongole byaki ebikuuma eddembe n'abo bebaripootingira simanyi bwa General Museveni yali akimanyi oba takimanyi kikulaga nti either mu Luganda bakiyita batya oba balina okutya bwe banga balina okutya tetumanyi ki ekibatiisa oba abo abakulembeze ebitongole tebamanyi kye bakola oba tebakyafaayo ku kifaananyi kya gavumenti yaabwe tebakyalina image gye baprotectinga kwegamba bagamba nti katukikole kubanga tekuliko twayonooneka dda tetukyalina ekijja kiki kubanga siraba engeri yonna endala abantu abali ku ntikko y'ebitongole by'okwerinda okola ekintu kyekika kino kati owulira lawyers kati bavudde Kenya bava Angola bava Nigeria n'awalala wonna ku lw'ekintu ekyo ekyokuwamba abakulembeze okubajja e Kenya okubaleeta wano ekirala batadde Kenya mukatu n'alabyeko ndowooza oba permanent secretary wa foreign affairs ng'agezaako okunyonyola nga babuuzizza kubanga Kenya mu parliament babuuza abakulembeze aba political leaders abala babuuza ng'agezaako okunyonyola naye ng'olaba nti talina kyakwogera kati bw'oba olina muliraanwawo n'akola ekintu mu ngeri gye bakikozeemu n'abateeka mu problem gye balimu kubanga problem Kenya wantu we tubadde ffena nga tutambula nga twetaaya nga tetulina kutya kwonna n'olwekyo kati engeri gye balabikamu kati kintu ekijja kutiisa abantu ffenna abali mu region eno n'olwekyo ndowooza ab'e Kenya basaanidde okuvaayo obulungi ne bannyonnyolawo obulungi bwe tuba nga tetujja kusigala nga tulina okutya bwe tuba nga tugenda wa e Nairobi nga ekisembayo ntera kukyogerako nnyo tomanya oluusi wasobola okubaayo abo abali mu gavumenti oluusi abeebase abasobola okuzukuka kubanga bw'obeera mu gavumenti manya nti waliko ekiseera ky'onoogivaamu n'obeera ku lulwo kati engeri gy'okolamu ebintu ng'oli mu gavumenti kizimba culture kati bw'ozimba culture ey'ekika kino enkya bw'oba nga tokyali mu gavumenti Bagala tubayise tutya. How do they want us to treat them? Kintu kye bateekwa okulowoozaako. Kubanga ffenna tuli mu ggwanga limu. Tulina obutategeeragana mu politics, naye wasaanidde okubaawo owa enki elayini gy'omanyi nti tetugibuuka. Etteeka lino tetulimenya, kubanga bw'olimenya olwaleero n'okola kyonna ky'oyagala okukola kubanga olowooza nti gw'oli mu gavumenti. Olunaku lw'ova mu gavumenti oba nga tokyalina ekikola ki ekikukuuma, kubanga tokyalina mmundu. Ababadde bakukuuma, abo abali mu gavumenti nabo baba nga baagala kukola nga by'okola, abo be bakukwata bennyini. Kintu kya short-sightedness is what? Okulabira kumpi. N'olwekyo tubasaba abali ku ntikko, waliko olunaku lwe bajja kubanga tebakyali mu gavumenti. Ekyo bakimanye. Wajja enkuba, wagwa omusana, wajja ekibuyaga, oluvannyuma lwa byonna gavumenti zonna zikola ki? Zikyuka. Bakirowoozeeko ekintu ekyo nnyo. Ne bwe tuba nga tulina obutategeeragana, naye eggwanga lisigala nga litya? Stable. Gurupu endala neeba eyingidde etambuza eggwanga bulungi, n'abo abatutulugunya kati amanye nti bw'aba akoze ensobi bagenda kumutwala mu kooti oba mu mbuga z'amateeka eziri civil courts mu Luganda, simanyi baziyita batya, mu kooti ez'abantu ba bulijjo. Ekyo baba nga tebakitegeera, balina ekizibu mu ndowooza yaabwe ne mu mitwe gyabwe.
Honorable Kenny, I don't know what I can say after all my colleagues have talked, and I can feel what Honorable Kyagulanyi experiences whenever we are in meetings like this, because he speaks last. But as the saying goes, that he who speaks last or who laughs last laughs best. Let me make 2 points. First of all, I thank the Leader of Opposition and U.No for organizing this event. I want to remind the President of Uganda that in 1980, when he went to the bush, 2 people were arrested by the army. One of them was General Salim Saleh. Your Excellency the President, when your brother was arrested, remember the message you sent to the former Vice President and Minister of Defense, the late Paul Mwanga. Because you are not trusting the courts then, you threatened that if he doesn't release your brother, you are going for him. So you should remember that. The way you felt when your brother was arrested is the way Ugandans are feeling when their children, when their brothers are abducted and are subjected to the court-martial. The second person that I want to remind the President of Uganda was his former Secretary General at the time, Honorable Bidandi Sali. Museveni went to the bush today. The following day, Bidandi Sali was arrested and he was incarcerated in the army barracks for 1 year and 4 months. I want to ask the President of Uganda, when you were in Rushikaire's house discussing about going to the bush or discussing about the way forward after the election, there were two options. You said you will go to the bush, and the Bidandi said, no, let us go and organize the party. Now you decided to go to the bush, the Bidandis decided to do otherwise. They remained here. I want to ask the president, was Bidandi arrested because he was going to overthrow government? Because you know very well that he was objected to that idea, vehemently objected. So are you telling us that that is what is now happening, that you went to fight? So I wanted to say this, maybe our president is no longer recalling what happened then. President, Mr. Museveni, they are correcting me here. The second point I want to make is a clarion call to all Ugandans. As we are sitting here in solidarity against the abduction and consequently the arraigning of Dr. Besigye and his co-accused to the court-martial, what Museveni has succeeded into is to isolate us wherever we are fighting for justice. When I'm being persecuted, NUP is isolated from me. When border borders are being persecuted, the hawkers are in their comfort. When the doctors are being persecuted, the teachers are in their comfort. At no one point, we have come together to fight against injustice as Ugandans. Where are the religious leaders in this? Where are the religious leaders? Where are the academicians? Where are the professionals in this? Where are they? Are they waiting the time when he will go to them and then they call us to come and defend them? In countries where they have fought injustice, the professionals, the religious leaders, the middle class, they all come together to fight this injustice. Until we realize this, until we appreciate this, this injustice shall keep on, shall keep on. So I call upon all those groups to come forward and join this struggle of fighting the injustice. Otherwise, we shall keep on fighting, and we shall keep on fighting in isolation from one another, and we will never succeed. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, our leaders, for the very interesting and very encouraging words